The room went still. You know that kind of silence where even breathing feels loud? Yeah, that silence. Because there, in the middle of a busy Monday meeting, Sarah Mercer stood with her arms crossed, staring down at Leo like she was addressing a child instead of a grown man. Her voice cut through the room sharp, cold, almost rehearsed. Maybe you should stick to simple tasks, Leo. We can't afford mistakes from someone who clearly doesn't understand basic work. A few people winced. One person actually slid their chair back like they were physically embarrassed for him. Leo didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He just stood there, holding his notes. His eyes were calm, but his hands, yeah, those gave him away. Trembling. Sarah wasn't finished. She laughed, one of those condescending, I'm better than you laughs, and added, honestly, I don't even know why you're here. You're not leadership material. You're barely assistant material. A couple of people exchanged wide-eyed looks. Someone whispered, wow, under their breath. And Leo? He took one quiet breath, nodded once, almost like he was mentally filing the moment away, and sat down. But something changed in that instant. You could feel it, like a storm tightening its grip before the sky cracks open. No shouting, no anger, just a shift. Asterisk, Leo hadn't always been quiet. When he was younger, he was the kid who dreamed loud. The one who thought he'd run a company one day, build something meaningful, maybe even change a small part of the world. But life has a strange way of sanding people down. His dad taught him humility sometimes with love, sometimes with pressure, and after his dad passed, Leo carried that weight alone. Instead of chasing power, he chased peace. He didn't want attention. He wanted purpose. He spent his early 20s working late nights, building skills nobody noticed, studying business strategy in coffee shops after closing shifts, fixing code at 2 a.m., learning negotiation videos instead of watching Netflix. But eventually burnout hit hard, so he stepped back, took a low-profile role, something simple, something that didn't demand the spotlight. He told himself he'd rest, just for a while. But sometimes rest looks like people mistaking your softness for weakness. Asterisk, the office he worked in wasn't the worst, just cold. Like everything was polished on the outside and hollow on the inside. People smiled, but you could tell it wasn't real. Everyone was racing against deadlines, against each other, against some invisible scoreboard measuring worth by productivity. Sarah thrived in that environment. She walked the halls like she owned them, heels sharp, voice louder than necessary, posture rigid with self-importance. She was smart, yes, but she weaponized it. People followed her orders because arguing felt like stepping in front of a train. Some admired her confidence. Others feared it. But no one trusted her, except herself, and that was about to matter. Asterisk things escalated over weeks. Little jabs, subtle insults, ignored ideas, eye rolls behind meetings. Sarah treated Leo like he was invisible until she needed someone to embarrass. That's the thing about people like her. They don't just want to win. They want to prove someone else deserved to lose. The breaking point was that meeting. The whole room saw it. The humiliation wasn't accidental. It was intentional. Recorded. Remembered. Leo sat quietly afterward, staring at the conference table like it held the answer to something. Then, not dramatically, not angrily, he took out his phone. He typed something, hit send, and put the phone face down. Sarah smirked. Texting because you're upset? She mocked. Leo looked at her gently, almost with pity, and said no, confirming timing. And that sentence unsettled her. Asterisk minutes later, doors swung open. Not rushed, not frantic, confident. In walked the CEO and two board members, people nobody ever saw without scheduling days ahead. Everyone straightened. The temperature in the room shifted. Sarah's confident smile flickered like a speaker losing connection. Ms. Mercer, the CEO said, voice calm, expression unreadable. Before we continue, there's someone here you haven't been properly introduced to. He turned to Leo with respect, real respect, the kind that doesn't need words. This is Leonardo Hayes, our new majority partner. And beginning next quarter, your direct superior. The room didn't breathe. Sarah's mouth fell open slowly, like her brain couldn't keep up. What? She whispered. The CEO continued, your treatment of staff will not be tolerated. Effective immediately, you're relieved of leadership duties pending review. Asterisk, Sarah looked at Leo, eyes wide, not angry. Afraid. Why didn't you tell anyone? She asked, voice small. Leo finally stood. His tone wasn't loud, but it filled the room. People reveal who they are when they think someone has nothing to offer them. Nothing dramatic. No revenge speech. Just truth, the quiet kind that hits harder than shouting ever could. Asterisk weeks passed. The office changed not overnight, but noticeably. Meetings felt safer. Collaboration felt real. People breathed easier. And Leo? He led like someone who knew what it felt like to be underestimated. One afternoon, a nervous employee approached him with shaking hands and said, I'm afraid I'll mess up. Leo smiled soft, reassuring, honest. Mistakes don't make you unworthy. Growth does. The employee breathed out and nodded asterisk as Leo watched the office that once drowned him now thrive under kindness. He thought about that meeting, the moment everything shifted. And he realized something simple but powerful. You don't have to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes life waits quietly, then reveals who was underestimated and who never deserved the power they misused. And in that quiet victory, Leo finally exhaled. Knowing he didn't rise to crush someone, he rose because he never stopped being who he truly was.